Tony Kanaan's not used to jumping out of a car. Kyle Larson's not used to jumping in the car and quickly getting his belts on. So that is the hiccup when you bring drivers in from other disciplines. The driver change is so important. They've got to get done. You've got to be ready to go once the car is dropped and the fuel is in. And obviously a little bit of a hiccup there on the 0-2.
It's what they do between the getting in and getting out that's important, and they're really, really stunning. Just going back to that, Calvin, there should be no penalties assessed for anything like that, because that was genius the way he comes in. Nowhere in the regulations is it saying you cannot come into pit lane faster than the other guy.
Looks like the door on the right-hand side of the 0-2 is not latched securely. So I kind of come up and there's Cole
there, just trying to get the power down. And this boy's got car control to burn, so that just shows you what it's all about. Gotta maybe adjust the TC a little bit on this outlap just to try and make sure you don't make a mistake.
Just a little whoopsie there for Austin Cindric, talking of Timmy's dad. Austin, a very well-rounded young man, and in fact came to my attention in the Bathurst 12 Hours a couple of 3 years ago now, Shea Adam, when he was driving it was the Erebus Mercedes back then, wasn't it, for Betty?
Yeah, it was for Betty Clemenco and the Erebus crew, where he drove with 2 other fairly youngsters, and they did a very good job. He then came back the year after, I seem to remember, and either finished 3rd or almost finished 3rd.
Well, the radio communication problems continue to exist in that car, Bob. We understand that Rusty Wallace was very concerned when he jumped in the car to know what to do, when to pit. And they said simply, if you can't hear us on the radio, look at the timing pylon that's around the racetrack and come in around lap 267. So Rusty may have adjusted that a little bit, knowing they ran under caution for some time there, but 267 is the number he needs to get to. Then he realizes that he's in the pit window. So just going the simple method right now as they try and get those radio problems sorted out.
Well, we saw the effects of that earlier on. Rusty Wallace pitted because there was a yellow, and being a good NASCAR regular, he knew that he wanted to pit if the yellow came out. There is Jimmy Johnson in the number 99 Gaines Co-Car, the Red Dragon from Bob Stallings Racing. See the running order in the class across the top of your screen. Johnson currently in 7th position. And 1 lap down to the race leader, David Donahue. There's a look at Jimmy's record here. Still looking for his first victory in this race. He's been 2nd twice. That has to be something of a torture. If he can win, put him in pretty elite company with A.J. Foyt and Mario Andretti as the only 3 winners of the Daytona 500 and the Rolex 24.
They sent Tony Stewart, and he is still in the lead of this Rolex 24 at Daytona race. Talk about pressure. After running for 23.5 hours.
Now there's a team that does need rain now.
Yes.
To try and take some load off the car.
This car has been the lead car for the majority of this race. Andy Wallace, Dale Earnhardt Jr. and the man driving now, Tony Stewart, to come within less than 40 minutes of the checkered flag and have this. We are set for an exciting
dragging on the floor, the right side pot about 1.5 inches above the ground.
Well, his left front's going to be completely in the air, isn't it? I mean, the right rear's going to be banging on the chassis.
Yeah.
Left front's going to be off the ground. Not going to handle very well, Tony. Hold on to it, buddy.
You look at the gap between the bodywork there on the ground.